Hello. Thanks for agreeing to set up this interview. As you know, we only have a short amount of time, so let's go ahead and get started right away. Now, I know that you've been involved in some work on community issues. Can you tell me what attracted you to the community issue that you chose at the beginning of the semester?
Yes, most certainly. My community issue that I chose at the beginning of the semester is animal abuse. I find this issue is very important to me personally because I have a lot of animals in my life. I have 4 cats and 3 dogs at home, which is extremely chaotic but also very fun and loving. I find that they are part of my everyday routine, that they provide me happiness, security, that they are so vulnerable and they love their owners so much. So it's so sad when animals are abused. I chose this issue specifically because I find that it's an issue not only at a national level but a local level here in Fargo. Fargo does not have many restrictions and guidelines for animal abuse, therefore, it is easily demonstrated. I think that acknowledging animal abuse and educating people about it can make them more aware and therefore prevent it.
Okay, thank you. Now, your materials also said that you were involved in a community issue team project that focused on a call to action.
Mm-hmm.
Can you share with me what call to action your team put forward and why you chose that call to action?
Yes, so my group consisted of Jeff, Chris, and I, and we decided to stick with animal abuse and more specifically preventive measures because we find that this issue is very relatable and very relevant to college students. Our call to action was 3 things, and they were very simple things. One was that if you see animal abuse or hear of it or know of it, to report it and report it immediately because you have a chance to save that animal's life. You can report it to the police or your local humane society. Secondly, we asked people to volunteer their time. And this could be 30 minutes out of the day, it could be 30 minutes out of the week, or it could be once a month. But anytime you dedicate to volunteering can really make a difference in that animal's life. And the third thing we ask, if you aren't able to donate your time, please donate your money. And this can be small monetary donations at any time or any moment you want. And we find that this is so important because people often don't have time and people often get caught up in their daily lives, but donating money can be a simple, easy way to make a difference.
I see. Now, if I were to ask the other members of your team what they think your biggest strength is, what do you think they would say, and why do you think they would say it?
If my other group members were to respond on my biggest strength, I think that they would say bringing creativity to the discussion and kind of having versatile ideas. I would also say that articulation is a great strength of mine. I think my teammates would agree in that I can kind of put out my point pretty clearly and that you can relate to it pretty well and I can speak to different audiences and they can kind of understand my opinion as well. I think that also one of my strengths is knowing how to respond to a question fairly quickly and kind of impromptu. It's something that I've been working on this year and I definitely think is something I can add to my skills.
Okay, great. What for you was the most challenging thing about working with your team?
I actually very much enjoyed working with my group members. It brought a lot of creativity and various ideas that maybe an individual wouldn't think of. A lot of people get nervous being by themselves up discussing with the class, so I think it's important to have people up there and kind of show that you can also do a group speech and it can be very supportive. However, it was very difficult to schedule a time and place to meet. With my group members, I would say that's the most difficult thing because many people are busy, many people have their own schedules, and oftentimes when we met, either someone would have to leave early, someone would have to come late, or someone might not even be able to come at all. And that was kind of inefficient because you'd have to relay what they missed, and you didn't quite get kind of that togetherness that you would like when you're working with a group.
Thank you. Okay, last question. In 30 seconds or so, tell me what your biggest takeaway was from Comm110 this semester. What will stick with you and be useful to you?
I didn't really have any expectations going into Comm110. I wasn't sure really what to think about it. Public speaking in general can be kind of frightening to the ears for a lot of people because you just imagine yourself up there and you're scared, you're nervous, you don't know what to say. But matter of factly, I found this class to be extremely helpful in that it provided me with essentials that I didn't normally think about, such as nonverbals or eye contact or making yourself big before going into a room so when you present, you're not so narrow. I learned how to prepare a speech in Comm110. I'd never really fully written a speech out. I had presented information to people, but it was mostly on a PowerPoint. So this class helped me figure out kind of the guidelines for writing a speech, having different topics and different strategies for writing a speech. And I think that's something that's very important. The biggest thing I will take away from Comm110 is that public speaking is important in the workforce and in your career. No matter what career you go into, it is important. It is important to be able to communicate effectively with your coworkers, with your boss, with an interview. It's completely important, and that's something that I didn't really think about, and I think a lot of people underestimate.
All right. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me. We'll probably be in touch with you in the next few weeks or
Thank you.
so.
Thank you for
Take
your
care.
time.